And welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Today, Charlene and I are going to have some fun. I got a good friend of ours on, Kimberly Miner, and I tell you right now, she's just a wonderful person. We have a good time with her. She's known me for a couple of years, so we've had a lot of great conversations, and we're just so glad to have her here on the show with us today, aren't we, Charlene?
We are. She's amazing. Just the way that she
Hmm.
helps people and
Oh
empowers
yeah.
them. Right up my alley. Can't wait to
Hmm.
hear everything.
Oh yeah, I hear you. We had a great show yesterday with Bert Oliva on, and my goodness gracious, it started out to be, he's going to be there about 2 minutes. Okay, fine. Then he was in his car because they were on the road. He was trying to use Wi-Fi. The signal kept going in and out. So then, he was gone or kept getting kicked out, I should say. He was gone, and then he got on the road. He's driving. His wife called me and says, "We're heading to the hotel. We're going to use Wi-Fi." I said, "Okay, that's fine. We got about 5 minutes because stuff we got to talk about anyway." And then we finally got him on, and we made up for some lost time, didn't we, Charlene?
That was a lot of fun. We had a ton of fun. And
Yeah.
we just rolled with it. He acted
Oh
like
yeah.
it was all just normal day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right. And his wife, remember when you were talking? I said, "Go ahead and talk to the folks. Sorry, I got to talk to his wife on the phone," and
Yeah.
she was all concerned. Says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you got a memo that I didn't get." Yeah.
We just
But we're
made it a little more exciting, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the way life is sometimes. Because when I did the original series, there's a couple of times I got kicked off. This one show I was on, I'm the MC, and I'm the only one that can control the buttons and all that stuff. I got kicked off 3 times. And I just let the show keep running. It brought me back in. I got kicked out again. A series of 3 times. And fortunately, I had Janie Sterling on there that day, first time I'd ever met her. But she was a very polished speaker. She understood things when things go wrong, and it's not the MC's fault or anybody else's fault. The show goes on, and she just kind of like took over. She says, "Oh look, Jim's back," and I said, "Hi, remember me?" I said, "Did you miss me?" Lying is okay. I can take that. But
Isn't it good to know your show goes on whether you're here or not? That's awesome.
oh yeah, yeah, probably it probably does better when I'm not here. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with Kim Miner in just a few seconds, right after this brief message here. And I think you might know this lady, Charlene.
I think so. Hi, and welcome to the Messages of Inspiration and Hope show that's proudly sponsored by the 6-Minute Webinar. Today we have some exciting and very interesting guests, real people just like you and me. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the show. Now here's Jim.
You do that so well. It's amazing how fast you can do that and come right back to the studio.
Change my shirt, yes.
Do you? Yep. One of those quick change
That was a
artists,
lot
right?
of fun.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's invite Kim to the show, Kim Miner, and let's say hello to her. And hello, Kim. How you doing today?
I am fabulous. I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited to be here with you both.
Oh, we're so excited to have you too. You've been on the show once before, I think, early on, and but this here, this is a full This is the Kim Miner Hour. How about that? Will that
I'm,
work?
you know what? I am so blessed to be here. There's nothing better than to spend time with you, Jim. And then now I get to have Charlene. So
Oh yeah.
this is great.
That's right. We're lucky
Yeah,
to
sure.
have you.
Yes, we are. And Charlene, I got to give a shout out to her because I tell you right now, she is a real. Not only is she the honorary host here on E360 TV, not only does she do commercials, she helps me co-host. She's an airline. She works for an airline. Is it a stewardess? You got a fancy word for that other than stewardess. What is it called? Boss
I'm a
lady?
flight attendant and a ground instructor. Yes.
Flight attendant and ground instructor. Okay, well, I'm old school.
Flight attendant.
Yeah. Usually when I, insult them, they just make me sit in a folding chair out on the wing and tell me to behave myself. So But
Right.
most
At least they tie
importantly,
you down.
they probably should. But most importantly, Charlene, would you just take a moment and share a little bit about your wonderful organization, Healing Acres Never Again, known as Hannah? Would you share that with us, please?
Yes, Hannah's a nonprofit that works with people that have been through sexual trauma, incest, domestic violence, rape, and abortion. And it's basically steps that I took. I went through all those things in my lifetime. And I believe healing is a journey. It's never a
Mhm.
one-time thing where it's over, but there's certain things that you have to go through, certain truths that you have to look at. And the most important thing that you can have, and people that have been through a lot of sexual trauma don't have that support system in place in their life. And so that's what Hannah is. It's there to be that support system to get them to the different people and different things that they might need. So
Mhm.
we call it Healing Acres Never Again. It's a silver tree. We like to be outside. We like to have that redemption. So that's what Hannah's all about.
Well, thank you so much. The thing I like about what you've created there in that organization is that you've got skin in the game. And that's the only way you can build something and really, be a blessing to others because you have a great understanding of where they're coming from. And we can say the same thing about Kim and her respective field. Kim has got a lot of skin in the game when it comes to helping women and overcoming a lot of, problems and stuff they face that us guys, we wouldn't understand because we're not girls. And, the things that have to, the way they come together and help each other. And Kimberly created the Kimberly Miner Network.com. Her email address is just simply Kimberly at KimberlyMinerNetwork.com. This has been a commercial, and Kim will send me $2 after the show. So, Kim, tell us a little bit about yourself first, please.
Absolutely. So, my story is one that, I faced a lot of adversity in my life. I have experienced a lot of domestic abuse in my past. And through those struggles that, I felt like for so many years that I did not use my voice. And through not using my voice, and not letting people know that I needed help, that I created so many obstacles in my life. And it kept me from going where I needed to go in my life. And it created more obstacles than allowing me from moving forward. And so, um, at a certain point when I was able to really come to terms with what it was that I had faced in my life, I had made a decision that, I knew that others had gone through the same thing. And how did I know that? Because going through programs that I had been in the same circle with so many other women who had gone through the exact same issues that I had gone through. So I
Mm-hmm.
knew that they too had faced so many of the same issues that I had gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew, though, that I had a voice that once I started talking, it's hard to get me to be quiet. And so I knew I had what it took to actually, get out there and be a voice for so many others. And the thing was, is I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be able to show others that you can speak for yourself, that you can make a difference and make a change, and your life can look different. And I wanted to make a difference. And I was willing to make that hard turn and look at my past, because that's important, is that you have to be willing to look at your past and look at the things that you made decisions that weren't necessarily good decisions for yourself, because not all the decisions I made were good decisions, and I made really bad decisions that were not ones that were productive for myself or for my children. So I had to look at those and I had to take accountability for them.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did that, it started allowing me to create opportunities for myself to move forward. And I can take those stories and I can share those with other women and show them that when I did that, I empower myself, and nobody could use it against me. And I kept creating further opportunities for myself. And I created, a whole company for myself of doing exactly that, of showing other women what they could do.
Sure. What's really amazing there, ladies and gentlemen, is that both these ladies, they reached a point where they're going to say, I'm coming out. I'm going to help others because I knew what it's like. I'm going to come out. And by doing that, you're going to be encouraging a lot of people out there that's listening. Maybe some ladies or some guy, because guys get abused too, or they have problems too, but they just may say, I'm going to do something. I'm going to help myself. And I'm in the process of helping myself and loving myself, I'm automatically going to be able to help others. So I'm going to start with Charlene first, and then we go to Kim. But Charlene, what was it like for you to make that decision that you're going to, just say, this is it. I'm going to heal myself so I can heal others?
I think it's just a process where you've had enough and you want so much more. And when you finally break chains and you see, it's like there's a big fog and things get lifted from you, and you see you're happier than you would have been before. It's like you have this joy, you have this light, and you can't help but want to go out and help other people find that. Because I know Kim's probably going to say the same thing. When you walk around or you meet people, you can sense it in them, you can feel it in them, because we've been there, and that pain and that hurt inside. And you don't have to live like that. It's about believing in yourself and having that love for yourself, so that and when you hit that point, you want to share it with other people.
I would absolutely agree, Charlene. 100% is that you have to learn how to, before you can share with others, you have to get right with yourself, and you have to be able to look in the mirror and love yourself and say, I accept me for who I am, for all the mistakes I made, and for who I am today, because that person is a really good person, and I have so much to offer myself and the world. You have to be able to offer yourself something first, because if you can't offer yourself something, then what do you have to offer other people? And that was the biggest thing that I had to be able to do, is say, I still have something to offer myself. And that took a long time to be able to do, is to be able to look in the mirror and say, not be able to criticize myself, find a fault, and be able to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I really like this person. This person is a good person. Because I'm so used to criticizing myself, because so many people found fault with the decisions and things that I went through.
That's really important, because I like what both of you said there. You gotta, just be honest with yourself and say, okay, I'm going to forgive myself for the mistakes that I've made. I'm not going to feel guilty about the things that I cannot control or I was not in charge of. And there's a lot of people that, and I tell people this, anytime someone's trying to put you down or something like that, they're grasping at some little toe hole on the side of a cliff to move up a little higher and try to make their sorry, good for nothing life, make them feel better about it, I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, because only a very poor person, spiritually poor on the inside, bankrupt, would want to tear down another person to make themselves feel better. And that's about as weak and as cheap as you can get on the inside. And both of you have really, you've come out of that. And both of you, you see the light. I talk a lot about seeing the light in the eyes, because the light shines from the inside out. And, I've seen people that, in fact, I knew one guy, he just had a troublesome kind of face. Every time you see him, he had the same expression. And the joke was with us guys, we just kind of joked around and said, well, I guess when he got born and held up by the heels and smacked on his little butt to get him breathing and all, we don't think he quite got over that. But he just, he just walked around with that troublesome look all the time on his face. He just, if someone said something funny, he'd look at him like, what do you mean do with that or something? Just and he'd feel uncomfortable with that. I don't know whatever happened to him, but I mean, he was just. You feel sorry for people like that. You really do because they're not free on the inside and they're not happy. And goodness.
And it's not an easy thing to go back, and sometimes you have to go back. I had to go back to my childhood, and you kind of have to look at yourself as a child, and sometimes even talk to yourself as a child, and just realize you are not perfect. Things happen to you that you couldn't control, and you didn't have the ability to make a lot of good decisions. I know, like Kim said, you said you made some poor decisions, but a lot of times we weren't equipped, and we have to go back and we have to forgive ourselves and learn from that. And it's amazing. It's amazing how you come up and out of that, and then your confidence, and Kim, you're able to give that to other women. So that's awesome.
We can choose to achieve anything we want to achieve. It's, are we willing to walk into the darkness and allow ourselves to create the opportunities of what it is we cannot see?
Right.
That's very true. And Kim, I'd like to ask you a question. What is the biggest problem that you feel you've ever had to face in your life?
Well, where to begin?
Which one?
Will it be door number one, door number two,
Door
or
number one, door number two, door number three? I think I think I'd like to go back to kind of where it all began. Is that back when I was dancing, and that's kind of where my journey of when life kind of went awry, that it began for me. Is I will never ever forget going down memory lane. Is that I had been in a class and had hurt myself, and which took me to an orthopedic surgeon's appointment where they said I needed to go. And I remember going in there with my mom, and I went into that appointment as a dancer. And, as you go into any doctor, they have a bedside manner of telling you just basically the explanation of matter of factly going through the facts. And I remember him putting the x-rays up on the x-ray machine with the light and stuff like that, and him going through and explaining and saying, okay, this is the calcium deposits you had on your left tibia, and it fractured. And if you look through the fracture, because it fractured that for the first time, it allowed them to see the left tibia. And in the middle of the left tibia, you have these tumors that grew, and there's 16 of them, and they grew up in the middle of the tibular bone. And what it's called osteoid osteoma. It's very rare. And I was like, oh, yay me, how fortunate for me. And what it is, it's benign tumors, and it's acid in the middle of it. And I'm like, oh, well, what's that? And he says, it's bone that never grew. And I was like, oh, I knew I was supposed to have long legs. Like, could I have those back now, please? That would be really useful right now.
Yeah.
So, I knew I was supposed to have the long legs from the chin down, but as he's explaining it, and it's extremely painful. He said, so what we have to do, like, it's just no big deal. All we have to do is take the calcium deposits out, and then, your left tibia is basically round like this. It has a little shape, but basically it's round like this. And so all we have to do is we just have to take this saw and saw like the bone, take 50% of it out and take all those tumors out. And so you'll only have this thin strip left, and we're going to put a full-length cast on your leg up to your groin area. And so because all that bone has to grow back in, and it has to get real thick and stuff like that, you're just never going to be able to dance again, because you'll never be able to take all that pressure and stuff like that. And I went, have you ever had too much to drink and then you lay down in the bed and you feel like the ceiling spinning and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah.
I remember that I like went into that spin mode sitting there. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I kind of was like, I don't know what to do. I this is unbelievable. And 3 weeks prior, I had just been accepted into a dance program for the fall. And I thought, this is not what my plans are. I already have plans for the fall. Like, so this doesn't work into the plan. So, and I'm like spinning, and I checked out of the conversation at that point, because I no longer was participating and he was talking. So as we, and he's matter of factly continuing to speak. And as we walk out of the appointment of the room, I walk out of that room with no longer with an identity. I spent 16 years dancing with an identity. And all of a sudden, I no longer had an identity. And I didn't know what to do. So here at 21, I no longer had an identity. And I was completely trying to figure out what it was I was supposed to do with the rest of my life. Because, at 21, we all know like exactly what, we're going to do with the rest of our lives. Cause like we have it all figured out, right. At 21, cause like we're like full adults at that point. Right.
Yeah.
So exactly. So, I was completely incapable of being able to comprehend of what to do. I was this elite athlete and not knowing what to do at that point, and having to move back home, being gross in my family, being out of touch with what it was that I was doing, being out of touch with my environment, not used to being at home, my family not used to having me at home. It was the start of the beginning of many bad choices that I would wind up making, because I didn't know what to do, and of who I was, what I was going to be doing, and things like that. So to answer your question, that, and I think so many of us, when we have something of that magnitude, it can change and propel where we go in our life. And it forever changed, the direction of where my life went.
Yeah, because you were.
That was devastating.
Yeah, because how old were you when you first started ballet and all that and dancing?
When I really got serious, I mean, I had been, I had taken classes since I was really little, but when I got really serious about it, I was in 4th grade. So, I, had been dancing for, a long time.
Sure.
So, it was something that was, it was something that's what I did. And I can remember going back for my class reunion and my 25-year class reunion. Do I dare say that? Because it's like only been like 10 years, right? So, and when I saw the people, they said, "Oh, Kimberly, the dancer." Like that was my identity. That's what people identified with me as, is right. We all have this legacy that we have. And so that's up to that point what mine was. So the thought of what do I do was something that I so struggled with, of what do I try to do? How do I figure that out?
Because, Charlene, for so many years, she says dancing is her life, dancing is her world, dancing is her dream, her passion, her love. And then all of a sudden, like, to have this physical, injury and stuff and find out the complications it's facing her, now she's forced to rip up all those roots and put them where, And a lot of people have faced that in their life, Like I've known a few professional football players, and a couple of them anyway. And, they think about, what am I going to do? Because those two, they actually went to retirement. But they talk about some of the other guys that get in there a year or two and then an injury, bam. And all they wanted to do coming out of high school and college was just play pro football. And then a year or two later, boom, they're out of it. And they got to find something to do. And the point being, or the point I'm trying to make, is that they had to give up their true love and passion and then find something else, And that's tough, isn't it? Because you haven't spent much time thinking about that. That's really tough. And Kim, I imagine you face that quite often.
You're just thinking about one thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a difference between walking away from something when it's your choice versus walking away from something when it's not your choice. And I think that so many struggle with that. And I think you make such a great point, Jim, is that there are so many professional athletes that struggle with that. I think there are so many that it's not talked about at the college level, that who go to college on college scholarships, that they're there for a specific reason and then get hurt. And you look at these kids, football, such a popular sport, right? It is what is the driving force for the colleges, for the money that comes into the universities, right? And you see the interviews that they have with these college students, and the ones that are their star athletes, you look at when they talk to them and they get hurt, they're very leery about discussing about their the condition of their broken ankle or their arm or their finger or whatever it is, because they know what's at risk.
Yeah.
Their scholarship, the potential of going to the NFL, all of that is at risk, not only for themselves, but for their family. And so that's a lot of pressure for somebody so young. That's a lot to be thrown into. And the rest of us, we have no idea of what that means. And to have that taken away, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
With that. And nobody's there to be a net for them to say, this is what you do with your life when that's no longer there.
Sure. That's like I've read about football players, and a couple of them come to mind. I'm not going to mention their names, but they played games when they were hurt, when they shouldn't, because they did not want to get that label of being IP. I stand for injury, P stand for prone, injury prone, because that takes them out of the market. So they chose to suck it up, get Novocaine shots, things of this nature. And this is not just one or two. This is a whole bunch of them, that anything to kill the pain so they can play the game. And even though they know that pain is a signal to your brain that this part of your body is injured, you need to respect it, you need to rest it. But because they could be labeled as being injury prone, which would get them cut out of away from the team, they would choose that route. They'd suck it up and, tough it up, you might say. And wow, it's amazing the amount of pressure that puts on an individual. Us, me sitting here in this studio, being a host on a show and stuff like that. I mean, I have to worry about, if I fall out of my chair and hurt my back or something. Okay, well, I just sit here and look a little like, how are you folks today? I'm doing real good, But I mean, playing with that kind of pressure, and I mean, especially when that's your life.
Oh,
That's what you've, that's why you do everything you've done, all the years of hard practice and all the years of, wow, and dreaming that you're going to be a great player and dreaming you're going to make it into the Hall of Fame and all that. And
Oh yeah, I was best friends with my podiatrist. I used to go in and would get shots underneath my toes to numb them for performances.
whoa, I bet that was a lot of fun.
It was fabulous.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll take your word for that. I mean, I'm not curious enough to go out and try that, But I tell you, Charlene,
But
it's
you
amazing
did
because
remake your life, and you did have new dreams.
it's amazing, Charlene. Before the
I was just saying, Kimberly, it's amazing because we're just talking at the same time, aren't we? Go ahead. You go ahead, Jim.
No, it's your quarter. You go ahead.
Okay. I was just saying how amazing it was. Stop it, Jim. Stop it. I'm talking. You were so young, and you were so focused on that, and you did remake your life. You did have new dreams, but at the time it felt like you weren't going to make it. But now look at you. If you look back at your life, and now you're helping other people. So tell us more about how you've helped other people kind of accomplish their goals in life and get through that same kind of scenario. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it didn't happen overnight. It was a journey. Because from that point, I made a lot of mistakes. I would say I could write a book, but that's right. I have been writing a book.
That's how we learn mistakes
that I made. So I always, when I speak and stuff, I always talk about the fact of I think I've made almost every mistake there is. I think the only two that I haven't made is I didn't get into the drugs or the drinking. It just wasn't on my list. So I wouldn't suggest, but it's each their own. So, you're welcome. So I've created I could help you with all the shortcuts so that not everybody has to make them. So there we go. But what I've tried to do in my journey of helping people is that a couple of things is that I've created the Fearless curriculum, and it's all about working on three things. It's on confidence, self-worth, and self-esteem. Because without those three things, there's no foundation for ourselves. And how do you create opportunities for yourself? How do you even know how to stick up for yourself? Even if you are in the midst of a career, what if you don't like the career you're in? You stick in that career because you don't have the confidence to go start looking for something different. Or you don't go ask for that raise because you don't have the confidence or you don't think you're worth it. So you don't do that. Or you don't go for that high, different position because for those exact things. It keeps us isolated or doesn't allow us to persevere in our career because of lack of confidence, self-worth, and self-esteem. Or we are not heard. How many times in corporate environments are we in executive boards, where somebody just sits there and they don't participate within that atmosphere, or we're in teams and we don't partake. And so our name doesn't get on that project. And so we don't get credit for it. And we've done a lot of the work. And so we never get, highlighted for what it is that we actually are capable of doing. So it's so important that we actually learn to understand what it means to have those three particular things. So I have developed this course specifically for those who have been through some type of adversity or who have been through domestic violence to focus on. And I really work with right now with a lot of people going through domestic violence centers. I've gone to going to the universities. And then I took the program. I thought, having been a victim myself and then being in those environments, I said, I can see where we can really kind of alter this program and really make a difference on the other side. And so I have changed the program and have altered it some and made it for the police departments. And so now I'm working with the police departments so that they can know how to interact more effectively with the victims. And so it is so incredible because, they can get a better understanding of, I know why it is that I wound up in that situation. We talked about it today of, what's the worst thing that ever happened to me? I know where my beginning story is. I know where the voids in my life were and what filled those voids and why I started making some of the bad choices I did. So, but police officers, there's so many stories out there and stuff, and they don't have an understanding. So, it's like going to a college course and getting a course on why it is that victims have these voids in their life and stuff. And so it gives them a better understanding of why it is that who it is that they're actually interacting with, why it is that they don't have a voice, why it is they don't interact with them. It's like if you were dealing with a kindergartner, would you stand over them and talk down to them? No, you wouldn't. You would actually get down to their level and you would interact with them and you would talk to them at their level. So that gives you the ability to have more interaction and more ability for that kindergartner to want to interact with you and talk with you and, trust you. Well, it's the same thing with the officer. It's so critical. The officers, they're amazing people, and they're such a critical piece to this epidemic that we have going on. And so the more that we can educate them, the better that they can do their job. And they want to. So that is something that has really, they're really embracing it. And so I'm really, really excited about that, piece of it. So, and I've created the Envision You Women's Summit where I help women start envisioning themselves where that they can move forward. So it's been amazing.
We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to ask Kim a question, give her a chance to think about it. When she was at the rearview mirror, when she saw she had the problem with her leg and her dancing career is over to where she is now, what's that journey like? And I mean, did she even see that coming, or how does, with all the obstacles she had to overcome? So I'm going to give you a heads up on that. We'll be right back right after this brief message.
The 6-minute webinar allows you to create a marketing product in a fraction of the time that it would typically take to create a webinar. And when you follow the simple process, you will provide laser-focused content to your ideal customers. And the nice thing is, it's repeatable for any product or service that you offer. My name's Rich Parsons, founder of Higher Calling Consulting, and creating my own 6-minute webinars has allowed me to have a 24/7 marketing presence for my ideal clients. So I encourage you to make the 6-minute webinar part of your business marketing strategy too.
Now, there at the bottom, you'll see if you want to be a guest or a host, not a host, but you may need a host. A real good host, anyway, If you want to be a guest on our show, please send us an email at inspiration@e360tv.com. Plus, the 6-minute webinar, there's a webinar training coming up this weekend on Saturday. 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific time for 3 hours. Now, just between us, okay? If you'd like to go there and attend the webinar for free, all you got to do is just email us at inspiration at e360tv.com and just put down 6-minute webinar. And you can find a little bit more about it like that. We will send you the link where you can attend this training for free, number one. Number two, you're going to leave there with your very own 6-minute webinar. Isn't that amazing? And I tell you right now, Dandy Don McGrath and Mr. Bill Heinrich, they put the heart they put into that thing. Dandy Don with the script file, and Bill with the, him being a clarity on a coach on words and all that. It is a 1-2 punch. Trust me on that. And Kim, you've been part of that, haven't you?
I absolutely have. I would highly recommend that you invest the 3 hours in. It will be absolutely worth your time. Mm-hmm. You'll be blown away by what it is you walk away with.
And Bill is real big on clarity. If you'd like to have his free ebook on clarity, just go to get your free copy to myfreebook.me. M as in Mike, E as in Echo. That's 3 words, myfreebook.me. And you just put your email address in there, and it's an ebook that'll come right straight to your inbox. And you'll be glad that you did. But before the break, I was talking to Kim. I just give her a heads up about way back when she was, found out her dancing career was over. She could no longer relate, or bones could not, take the damage or the pressure of it. I think she's used the word. And where she is now, with how far she's come, my goodness gracious, the journey that the step by step, all the obstacles you had to overcome. Number one, there's no way you could have seen that back then when your dancing career was over, but the journey that you've overcome, all the obstacles, how does that make you feel?
Oh, when I look at it now, I kind of pinch myself. I feel so fortunate every time that I get to help someone. When I hear stories, when I give a curriculum, I've had some women that when I've given the curriculum on Zoom that have stayed to be the last one to get off of it. And they said, I just wanted to say thank you for actually developing this curriculum. And I actually figured out my confidence during this time. And I'm actually going to a job interview this afternoon. And now I'm going to be able to have my confidence in order to do the job interview. And I am so overwhelmed with this feeling of gratitude that, at first it was about this feeling of, so excited about being able to bring this to so many. And you have this thought of what it is you think you're going to be able to do. Mm-hmm. But then when you actually experience it and you realize that actually, that you're not doing something for them, that they're actually giving you the gift, that over and over again. And I start to feel almost kind of selfish that actually I'm not doing something now it is that I'm actually getting more out of it than they're getting out of it, because they keep giving me so many gifts by what it is that they're getting out of it. So then I feel like I have to go back to the table and actually do more with the program, so that I feel like I am justified in getting so many gifts back from all of them.
Because when you think about when she was dancing, Charlene, that was her world was focused on her performance, solely her. Yes. So the joy and the jubilee and the agony of the feet and everything, it's all personal. That can't be shared because it's, it just can't be. But now that she's looked out, looked at the bigger picture and helping others, the joy and the jubilee in that, my goodness gracious, leads me, I got to ask her a question. What do you feel the most grateful for now in life, Kim?
It's hard to
I am
pick,
so
huh?
grateful that, I get to be an advocate and a servant to others.
Mm-hmm.
Is that uh, realize that it's not about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's about even when I've gone through any adversities that I've gone through, it's not about getting through it for myself. It's about getting through it so that I can figure it out, so that I can be able to show others how they can get through it.
Mm-hmm. And Charlene, I know you've some of the things that she has said, it just fits right into what your world, where you've came from. And my goodness, I tip
I
my hat to
love
both of
it.
you. Yeah, I tip my hat to both of you ladies. Go ahead, Charlene.
It's so important because what she's giving back, it sounds so simple, but people don't understand it. And they're kind of, I know I was in the dark when you're talking about having a voice and having confidence and just giving people their self-esteem back. It sounds so simple, but it's huge. You're just really remaking their life. So I can just imagine the workshops that you're going through, and even working with the police officers when you talk about that,
Mm-hmm.
because if somebody hasn't been through it, they're not going to understand that person's point of view. And for you to go in there and kind of open that window so that more people can open up themselves to having that voice and having that confidence, I think that's amazing. And that you've got to feel amazing when you look back and say, okay, I wasn't a dancer, but look at me now. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you're vibrant and you're
Mm-hmm.
helping other people. That's awesome.
I love to be able to be a voice for others. And I've had the advantage recently to be able to go and speak and testify at the state house and senate and stuff, and so to try to help further bills that would help the fight in domestic violence and stuff. And so it's to help the many,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all part of being an advocate and being a voice for those who feel like they still can't speak for themselves.
And doing what you do, Kim, you find things, opportunities, and doors that open that come to you because you're the one that could be the problem solver in that particular case. And that's something that people who give from the heart, doors open for them. Things come to them. And explain to the folks out there, what does it feel like whenever something like that comes to you and you're able to just take care of everything, and you're willing in the joy and the jubilee of taking on that new challenge. What's that like?
For me, I number one, I love a challenge. So
Of course, you're a dancer. You're being competition. Yeah.
I'm competitive by
Yeah.
nature. So I love a challenge, but I love to be able to help somebody, and it
Mhm.
makes me feel good that um, I feel like I have done a good job at something.
Mhm.
So I spent 25 years in sales. So there's a certain part of that I bring into what it is I'm doing, is that I want to feel like I've done well at what it is that I'm doing. That
Mhm.
part never goes away. Is that, I push myself really hard to make sure that whatever it is that I'm doing, that I do really well at it, and
Mhm.
that I keep pushing to do better and better. And what
Mhm.
is it that I can do next
Mhm.
that is doing something that it has purpose and that
Mhm.
it's going to be of benefit, and
Mhm.
actually is not something that I just think that actually is going to be is something that will really have a purpose for
Mhm.
those that are out there.
It's amazing because I know there's people out there listening in. They might be seeing us live or in a replay, but You've experienced when someone comes to you, or maybe you just volunteer some good advice and they go, wow, that's really good advice. And then they go out and they use that good advice you gave them, or they listen to you, and it really made an impact in their lives. It helped them take one more step forward in going in the direction they want to be in life. And you know exactly how that makes you feel. So imagine having a lifestyle of that. Because people don't come up and ring your doorbell every day and say, "Hey, could you give me some advice?" At least it doesn't happen at my house. It may happen over your house, but in my house, they figure, "Well, we don't. I don't think we want any advice from that guy." But the joy and the jubilee of a lifestyle of that. That's what Charlene's experiencing. That's what Kimberly is experiencing. And if you have the ability to help someone and change their life, you owe it to yourself to experience the love and the joy of giving so that you can be able to share it with others. And I know both these young ladies have experienced that. And my goodness gracious, I'm going to give both of you a chance just to share with you. How does that make you feel? Charlene, you're first since you're up top there.
It's awesome. I love it. It's just so many people. The reality is that a lot of people don't make it out, and a lot of people don't even live through it. And you got to look back and when you see the dangerous situations that you were in life, and you got to go back and help other people out. You don't want people to get stuck there. And when you break that chain and then you see the reality and you get your voice, there's no going back. And you want to give that to other people. You can't wait to give it to other people. So I think we're created to help each other. We're here about, life is about love and it's about encouraging and helping each other. So it doesn't matter. We all experience some kind of trauma, some sorts of, nobody has a perfect life. So we all have to go back and we have to grow and learn things. And whether they've been through what you've been through or not, you can still lend a hand and say, hey, you got this. Come on, you can do this. And that's what we're here for. And yeah, so that's what I love to do.
And Kim, you've experienced things like that too, haven't you?
I have. I think it's so important that we all take time to help out others. It's giving of yourself is important. And you can do it every day. It doesn't have to be for a certain cause. Just the day-to-day of just doing something simple of holding the door open for somebody, or saying something nice to somebody, can be, you have no idea how it could have changed somebody's, day. When I call on the phone, for whatever it is that I have to, call for, and somebody answers, I always say, hi, how are you? How's your day going? And I had somebody that in customer service, and I had to do it via chat and stuff. And I said, how are you? How's your day going and stuff and whatever else. And they texted me back afterwards and stuff. And they said, you are the most pleasant customer I have ever had. Like, you're amazing. You didn't get upset at me. Like, have a blessed day and whatever else. Like, I changed the trajectory of, their day. How can, you have no idea how you can affect, somebody's day.
That's so true. Because, people that know me well know that I've got a warped sense of humor. And I was coming back from Arizona, so I pulled into this place. It had the big sign, they're got their gas and all that, and it's clean restrooms up there. So I went in and used the restroom and all, and I picked up a couple of things, came up to pay for it, and I says, it's a very unique store. It wasn't a typical, convenience store or stop and rob, whatever you call those things. And I was talking to the lady. I said, you guys really got a nice store here. She said, well, thank you so much. Me and my husband own this. I said, well, that's really nice. I said, is it okay if I tell you something? I said, I really enjoyed, using the restrooms and all, but I really didn't feel like cleaning them because the sign said clean restrooms, and I'm not in the mood for that. And she started cracking up. And then she said something interesting to me. She says, I want to thank you for that laugh. She says, I haven't had a good laugh in a long time. I thought, wow, you know, something as goofy and as silly and as nonsense as that, you know, and for her to thank me for that, I'm going like, wow, you know, you don't realize it's the little things in life that really count sometimes. Too many times we want to do things in a great big grandiose way. That's our ego. But if we come to the heart's always is like a little heartbeat. You know, it's not one big heartbeat for one heartbeat per day. It's just thousands of them. I don't know how many times my heart beats a day. I hadn't really counted them. To be honest with you, don't care. But it's the little things that we do, the little heartbeats that we give out of talking to someone, send them an email or maybe a message, or text them or whatever. But just little things like that means a lot to people. Sometimes it really does. It's always the little things that I found in life. It really means a lot. And it's just amazing, like what Kim says there, how you can touch someone's life and really the little in a little way, and it means so much to them, more so than what you even realize. And I know one time I was back in Arizona and I ran into a guy I hadn't seen in 20 years, and he says, "I remember the time." I'm going like, I don't really remember that. You were there. Well, I don't doubt that, but what I'm saying is that it did not make an impression on me, but it really made an impression. He says, every time I think about that, it lightens my load. And it was something positive I did. It wasn't anything goofy. I wasn't acting normal, in other words, probably that day. But but my point being is that it really made an impression on him, some little something that I did. And I really don't remember, what it was. But he said, wow, every time I think about that, I think about you and yada, yada, yada. And I'm going like, well, thank you. I mean, it made me feel nice, but I honestly didn't remember it. But my point being, that's what some people cling to, the little things that you do for them in their life. It just sticks in their brain.
Yeah.
Think about the impact you can have on someone's life when you do that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Even a smile. Smiles help.
Oh,
when people are having
yeah.
a rough day, sometimes they don't need
Oh,
words, but
yeah.
if you just look at them and acknowledge them.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. When I was a boy growing up, I was a kid in the 50s and an overly intelligent teenager in the 60s. And it was common. It was, it was,
Don't
it was,
say so
it
yourself.
was, it was common for people to, for men to be walking down the street whistling. And, you think about that. And one day I was walking into some place and I was whistling. A couple of people turned and looked at me like, because it was just, and I just did it just out of I don't know why, I just did it, because sometimes I like to whistle when I work or whistle when I'm by myself and stuff. And it's kind of like looked at me. Maybe I was out of tune. Heck, I don't know. But I was in tune in my spirit,
You were
and all
just
that.
happy.
That's right. Didn't have sense enough to be unhappy. We got about a minute and a half left. Is that right? Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah, that went
We,
quick.
Yeah, really. We should make this a 3-day show,
We can
I mean, yeah, we tick off everybody at the station like, we can't get Grant off the station. Oh, hush. We having fun.
That's right.
But Kim, I want to give you at least one more minute just to say anything you'd like to the folks out there. You got your email address there, and there's your website. So please share anything you like.
Yeah, I just like to mention is that, we have coming up in April 17th to be exact, is that we have our next Envision You Summit coming up. And I would love for people to take a look at our summit, and it's going to be amazing. And every summit, we focus on something different, and it's specific that way intentionally so that we can really help as many people as possible. And this one is Envision You, Own Your Dreams. And it's all about that, you can reach your dreams.
Wow.
So if people go to envisionusummit.today, they can learn all about the speakers and they can register. And as a special for those who are listening here, if they buy a ticket, they can get one for free. So that's my little nugget for any of those if they refer to seeing it here. That if they get one, they can get one for free. So
Wow, that's amazing. And I'll put the description of that in the show, the name of the website and all that. So it'll be in the description of the show. You can see the show there on e360tv.com. Just scroll down to positive vibrations, then go to the right to messages of inspiration and hope and support. And the first show you'll see there will be this show here, because it just run chronologically. And ladies and gentlemen, our time is over. We're already at 4 bells here in Texas. And that's 5 bells on the East Coast and a few less bells on the West Coast. But we're so glad you tuned in today. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And be sure and share this message with others. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Bye.